So, good evening, good evening, good evening. Yeah, Draw FC back again. Draw FC, and another disappointing home game, another disappointing game. Full stop. You get so psyched up for the game, you think everything's going to be sweet, and then you get let down again. Oh dear. I suppose if you expect nothing, you can never be disappointed, and it's the hope that kills you. But too many poor performances today. Too many players off the boil. Too many players didn't fancy it today. Didn't want to match their work rate, and they should have known about the work rate if we'd done our homework. And listen, we played against them at Bramall Lane, and they took us apart at Bramall Lane. It could have been 3-4-0 at Bramall Lane. They bullied us that day. So what was going to be different today? I don't know. Exactly the same, isn't it? And to go 1-0 up in the game, I don't think was really deserved. I think that at half time we were kind of lucky we were winning the game. It wasn't the greatest watch the first half. And pleased for Martinelli, pleased for Saka as well. Great crossing from Saka. Martinelli, right place, right time, showing Lacazette exactly how you score goals. And we went in 1-0 at half time. Second half, we came out and had a couple of little, I wouldn't say chances, because we didn't even end up getting a shot on goal, but we had a couple of breakaways and misplaced passes, holding on to the ball too long. There should have been a penalty, in my opinion. I think that's a penalty all day long. And you just knew it was coming. You knew it was coming. They then made a couple of subs. We didn't until after they'd made theirs, and it was just long. It was long. And let's have it right, they probably could have won it at the end. And probably should have won it. They had a free header off a corner at the end. Luckily, it was straight at Bert Leno. So, yeah, it weren't great. And all the excuses are coming out. The referee, VAR, all this crap. The fact and reality is, stop blaming everybody else. We are crap. And we were fully crap again today. 4 shots on target. They had more overall shots. They had 12 to our 11. And too many same old, same old. And you know, Granit Xhaka today, I thought played all right. David Luiz was decent. But I'll come into player ratings in a minute. I thought Torreira was man of the match, I said on Chig stream. But at the same time, you've got to look at this logically and just say, like, all of these players have been given a lifeline. Eddie Nketiah came on. We all thought he was going out on loan. And evening to you, Pete. I hope you're well. Evening to everyone in the chat, by the way. And we thought he was going out on loan. We thought Granit Xhaka was going, literally leaving. Bye. Thanks for the memories. The kick against the kicker to give the penalty away against Brighton. It's time to say goodbye, my friend. And all of a sudden, Arteta's spun him around to keep him. And although Granit Xhaka's played all right recently, it's gone from we could have got 20 odd million quid for Granit Xhaka to he's now starting games week in, week out and playing all right. But how long for? And then when we do see the downturn for Granit Xhaka, which we will, then what do we do then? Is any club going to come in for Granit Xhaka then? We should have snapped Werder Bremen's arms off and took the 20 odd million pound they were offering. But we didn't, and that's going to come back to bite us, unfortunately. Although I do think he has played well in recent weeks. But listen, he ain't going to play well for the next 12 months straight, is he? Let's be honest here. And when he has that bad spell, we know that he hasn't got the mentality to get out of that unless he has a 4-week break and goes and plays international games and takes time out of playing matches, which isn't acceptable. I don't know. Listen, I don't know. Lacazette, what are we going to do with him? Lack of threat, lack of anything. Yeah, lack of being able to control the football. You know, it's time for him to be dropped. And I'd consider selling him immediately. Yeah, I'd sell him straight away. Whoever wants him, come and get him. Yeah, go and put the money towards somebody else. We've seen tonight or this afternoon that Haaland scored a hat-trick on his debut off the bench. Why weren't we in for him? Yeah, we're pinning our hopes on a guy that scored 32 goals in 32 months. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, it's just laughable. And then you go to Mr. Missing. And as soon as you talk about this guy, the army of divs come out the woodwork and say, you've got an agenda, you've got this, you've got that. Yeah, I want him to play better. And he's done it for 2 games. And all of a sudden, everyone got their knickers in a twist and thought he was back. Prime Mesut's back. He's back. Well, he's back to being disappearing Mesut. Yeah, and I've seen so many people on Twitter. I ain't even entertaining it. I've just looked at it, logged in, logged back out. Bye. Saying that he was everything good. He was vital in everything we did good going forward today. Did I watch a different game then? Because I actually see Torreira taking the ball forward and Granit Xhaka taking the ball forward more than him. A simple pass that he could have played into Martinelli in the second half on about 50 minutes. He overhit and it went out for a goal kick. He tried to do 2 slide tackles and missed them both, and that's it. Yeah, the goals have dried up, the assists have dried up, and we've got the only number 10 probably in world football, let alone in the Premier League, that don't score or create any goals anymore. And we're pinning our hopes on this guy. Prime Mesut's back under Arteta. We've seen that one a lot. Maitland-Niles, poor again today. Well, I say poor again. He's actually been really good, but I thought he was kind of poor, especially when they scored. Yeah, after that, I think he got a little bit on edge. I don't think he was that great before that. I think he done all right, but I'm going to lay off him. I think he's been decent. I think he's been really good, and I like him at right back. So, and then you go to the other side, Bukayo Saka filling in at left back. I actually thought he done all right today. I thought he'd done all right, especially first half. At half time, I thought he was man of the match or man of the half. Great little cross into Martinelli. Got a slight little deflection, which may have took it away from the keeper. But at the same time, I thought he'd done really well. Centre backs, Mustafi, couple of nice little slide tackle clearances. David Luiz, I thought done all right. But then they got a little bit raggedy as soon as they scored, and it was panic stations. But I don't know. Listen, Pepe, what did Pepe do today? He had a couple of nice little runs into the box. Probably should have had a penalty. That was about it. Where was he for their goal? Where was he? You know, I can't pin that on Maitland-Niles. I get why he tucked inside, but where's your right winger? Where was he for that? But there we go. Anyway, let's get into some player ratings. We don't accept homophobic behaviour in the chat, Chloe. So thanks for the memories, sweetheart. It's time to say goodbye. We don't deal with that sort of behaviour around here. I don't know what chats you normally go on and talk like that, but you need to wash your tongue, especially if you are a female. But anyway, let's get into the player ratings. Leno, I'm going to go straight 6. Can't fault him for their goal at all. I think he's done all right. He weren't great. He didn't really have a lot of work to do, if I'm being honest. Couple of little shots that were straight at him. That was about it. Maitland-Niles, I'll give a 5. Started off, didn't really notice him, if I'm honest. But then second half, I thought he grew into the game a little bit. But then as soon as they scored, he was a little bit again. So I'm going to give him a 5. Mustafi, I'm going to give a 6. I thought that he looked back to weird Mustafi when they scored, panic station Mustafi. But before that, I think he actually done all right. David Luiz, I thought was the best of the back 4. I'm going to give him a 7. Mustafi, I'll give a 6. Luiz done all right. I thought he'd done all right, and he tried to bring the ball out and tried to spring attacks. It just didn't quite happen. But I'll give Luiz a 7. Bukayo Saka, first half fantastic. Second half fell away a little bit, but he was still a threat going forward. Second half, but defensively he weren't getting back so quick in the second half. But it's not his position. He filled in. I thought he done really well. I'll give him a 6. My man of the match, Torreira, I'm going to give an 8. I thought he done really well today, and it's kind of worrying that that he has probably been our best player. Well, he was definitely our best player today, in my opinion. Against Crystal Palace, when he went off, we looked a completely different team, and he was probably the best player at half time in that Palace game. Man United, again, other games under Arteta, he's been superb. So again today, but we need 6, 7, 8 of them to be like that, not just 1 or 2 or 3. And I'm going to give him an 8. Granit Xhaka started off poor. Then after 25 minutes, got really good. And then as soon as they scored, we just kicked this guy out. After they scored, he went back to calamity, Granit Xhaka, fluffing his lines, misplacing passes, and being pressed and not being able to deal with that and not sorting his feet out quickly. But overall, I thought he'd done all right. I wouldn't say he was fantastic. I wouldn't say he was poor. He was above average, which is why I'm going to give him a 6. And he's been above average. He's been 6s and 7s since he's come back from throwing the armband away. And fair play to him. But listen, at the end of the season, I want him gone. He should have gone this window. He should have gone to Werder Bremen. And for some reason, Mikel Arteta has seen something in him that can make him become great. Well, let's hope it works. Let's go on to my mate, Mesut Ozil. My mate, Jesus Christ, this guy winds me up. Proper winds me up. I don't get the hype today. I don't see anything he'd done. Like I said, I've seen people online saying he was fantastic going forward. No, he wasn't. He didn't create anything. He didn't score. He don't have a shot. He had one where he drove forward. He could have had a shot. Instead, he passed it, overhit it, and it went out for a goal kick. It was a simple 10-yard square pass. Defensively, just done his usual, trotting around the pitch, faking that he's defending without any sort of real intensity, just jogging around. And we know he's got the intensity and the hard work and the strength and the stamina, because we see it when he played and held off 2 Man United players sprinting down the wing with the ball. So why can he do it for one game and not the next 3? And that, my friends, is why I don't rate him and haven't rated him for a long, long time. But there we go. I'm going to give him a 3 today. Not good enough. And if he starts against Chelsea, he'll probably drop a 1. Because I think last season when we played against Chelsea, he got hooked off after 60 minutes, and that was his worst ever performance, or one of his worst ever performances for Arsenal in Emery's 2nd game. But there we go. Or yeah, it was last season. Yeah, it was last season, wasn't it? Yeah. I'm thinking of what year I'm in. Let's move on. Let's move on to Pepe. Tried, but trying ain't good enough at times. You should try as a given. He did try to get the ball and run with the ball. Sometimes he overcomplicated it. Other times he got it stuck under his feet. He should have had a penalty, in my opinion. Where was he for their goal? The same as at Palace. What was he doing for their goal? He was just standing there looking at it. I really want him to smash it, but at the moment he's not. It's very similar to Mesut Ozil. Plays great one game and then disappears for free, really. Although I do think he was better than Ozil today. Listen, that weren't difficult, was it? But he should have took the free kick that Lacazette took. I don't know why Lacazette was taking that. That was exactly where he scored the one against Vitoria from. So why is he taking it and not Pepe? But I'm going to give him a 5. Pretty bang average. Other side, Martinelli scored the goal. Nutmegged one of their players. Sold dreams to him. But I don't think he was that great today. I like the fact that every time he gets the ball, he turns and runs and goes at him. But he kept getting crowded out at times, bumped off the ball. He got an elbow to the face at one point and it weren't even a foul, it was play on. His work rate, we know that's a given with him. I'd say he was above average, which is why I'm going to give him a 6. I don't think he was that great. I think he was good. I don't think he was great. He got the goal. He was in the right place at the right time. And his movement is fantastic. But today wasn't one of his best games. But listen, he scored the goal. 6 for me. Lack of threat. Worst player on the pitch, along with Mesut Ozil. I'm going to give him a 3 as well. Him and Ozil were poor. And they were poor the other day against Palace. Then I don't see why we keep playing these 2 players. Yeah, Arteta comes in and says we're going to pick players based on performances, not on reputation. Well, if that's the case, why did they start today then? And I guarantee they both start against Chelsea on Tuesday. So it's all hearsay. It's all talk. Talk is cheap, and I'm sick of hearing talk. Start doing the do's and walking the walk. Otherwise, we'll still be sat here at the end of the season going, well, I can't believe we finished 10th this season. I think we're actually 11th, aren't we? And Laka don't care, apparently, according to Stan. Well, it don't look like he cares right now, mate. It looks like he's going through the motions and he couldn't give 2 fucks about this club. Sell him. Just get rid. Listen, just make a stand and go, do you know what? We've kept Eddie. We've got Martinelli. We've got Aubameyang. We've got Pepe. Do you know what? Let's go and sell him and buy a centre-back. We're looking at a left-back when we don't need a left-back. We need a right-back. We need a centre-back and we needed a central midfielder. We could have fully got rid of Granit Xhaka this window to Werder Bremen. We decided to keep him. We could have gone and bought a centre midfielder, sell him, get a midfielder. We don't need Layvin Kurzawa. Like, come on. Are we trying to go for like the worst left-back in the world or something? He's going to be another Andre Santos. He's fucking dog shit. Yeah, and we're going to give that guy a 5-year deal. Jesus Christ. We've got Kolasinac there, who's out injured at the moment, but only for a few games. We've got Tierney, who we gave a 5-year deal to, who's coming back from injury in the next couple of weeks as well. Why are we doing our money on this guy in the summer? Does that mean Kolasinac's leaving? I don't know, but you're replacing Kolasinac with somebody who's even worse. We don't need a left back. We need somebody in centre back. Let's go on to Eddie. I'm not even going to mark Eddie, if I'm being honest. He was on the pitch 15 minutes. I'm not even going to mark him. Arteta, 5. In fact, no, 4. I'm going to give him a 4. I thought the starting 11 was all right. I can't lie. I thought, yeah, that's probably the best we could have picked on paper. But at the same time, his substitutions, let me plug my Mac in before this dies. The substitutions, substitute came way too late. And how did Arteta get to the point of thinking, oh, let me keep Ozil on the pitch for 90 minutes? What did he see? You got Ceballos sat on the bench. You got Joe Willock sat on the bench. You could have brought either of them two on, and they would have made a better last 10, 15 minutes of the game than he done in 90 minutes. Lacazette should have came off 10, 15 minutes earlier. Probably shouldn't have started the game as well. And he needs to fix up with his substitutions. I mean, how can you be at home 1-1 against Sheffield United and only use one sub? That's just not good enough. But it is what it is. People seem to think he's the second Pep. They think he's the next Wenger, whatever they want to call him. I don't. And he's won 1 out of 5 games in the league, which is no better than Unai Emery was doing. So we see what happens against Chelsea, because it could be 1 out of 6. It could be 2 out of 6. Who knows? And it's not looking great at the minute. I'm not really full of confidence going to Chelsea, and especially when I know that Ozil and Laka are going to start as well. So there we go. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up in a couple of minutes. Do drive the likes up. I'll read a couple of your comments out for 3 minutes, and then I'm going to get myself out of here, have some dinner, and chill out. Arteta went to the Wenger school of substitutes. See what he did, David. See, the thing that winds me up, is the fact that, listen, play Saka at left back, cool. I get that. I went with that. Play him. I went with Ozil, cool. Play him. As soon as you can see that guy is not doing nothing for you, hook him off. Whether that's 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 50 minutes, 60, 70, 80. Hook him off. Yeah? He's mates with Mesut Ozil from their playing days together at the club. Ain't no way we're moving forward with Mesut Ozil in the team. I'm sorry. I don't see anything to suggest otherwise. Lacazette, why are you starting? He will start again against Chelsea, and he shouldn't. Martinelli will probably be benched. That's how it goes. Arsenal should open a drawing academy and teach the kids how to draw, since they're no longer interested in winning big trophies. Rum and Coke all day long, Georgie. Come on. Thoughts on Saracens Rugby Club? I don't watch rugby, mate. I don't watch rugby. It's the wrong shaped ball. Arteta went to the Wenger. I've read that one. Is Steve Bruce proving that the job Rafa did at Newcastle was overhyped by some people? Well, listen, at the end of the day, it's not difficult to manage a football team. Let's be real here, yeah? You go in, you stamp your authority on the team, you tell the team how you want to play, and if they don't do it, you drop them. Yeah, and you pick players that do that. Now, like I said, Lacazette has been shit all season. Why is he starting games? What has he done in Mikel Arteta's first couple of games to warrant Aubameyang being shoved out on the left wing? What has he done in the first couple of games under Arteta to warrant still starting in this game? Can somebody tell me that? Oh, but he's got work rate off the ball. I don't care. He's a striker. Yeah, his job is to score goals. Yeah, it's great to have the work rate. When you lose the ball, go and win it back. You get taught that when you're 5 years old. Yeah, what does he do? The guy scored 32 goals in 32 months. I'm sorry, that is not good enough to represent this football club. I like Laka. I think he's a decent player, but them stats are ridiculous. Thanks for the memories, mate. Yeah, it's as simple as that. 7 away goals in nearly 3 seasons. Wow. That's just mad. Martinelli's played 20 times for this club, or 20 appearances. He hasn't started 20 games. 20 appearances for this football club, and has scored 9 goals. And 2 assists, if you want to count assists. He has scored 9 goals. That's nearly 1 in 2. Yeah, Laka's got like 1 in nearly 3. Yeah, and he's apparently the £50 million world-class striker, everyone. He ain't. Yeah, and he ain't the be-all and end-all. Man United sold Lukaku. Chelsea sold Morata. Are they any worse? No, they're not. Yeah, so get rid of Laka, go and buy a left winger. Yeah, put Aubameyang back up front, go with your left winger, Aubameyang up front, Pepe on the right wing, bin Ozil, go and get someone else, bin Granit Xhaka, go and get someone else, buy a centre-back and buy a right-back. Instantly, you're miles better. You've then got Pepe, your new left winger, Aubameyang, Martinelli and Eddie. That's enough. You've got a number 10 that can actually score goals and create goals, because ours don't. The only number 10 in the world that don't score. Get rid of Granit Xhaka and go and buy a proper midfielder, Decore, someone like that, and Didi. I don't know. Thomas Partey. Yeah, even Frank Kessie. Go and get him. Yeah, somebody like that. And then go with a proper centre-back next to Saliba. You've got Tierney. Go and buy a right-back, Max Aarons. Yeah, then you've got a proper starting 11. Your bench is still decent. You bring the youngsters through. It really isn't difficult to change the fortunes around to this football club. The fact and reality is we have got yes man running the team right now in Arteta, which is why he got given the job, because he will do as the hierarchy his Spanish pal, Fraud Raoul, will tell him to do. And he'll keep paying him the £6 million a year if he keeps his mouth shut and says all the right things. Yeah, I can see it. Others can see it. Some of you can't see it. That's cool. He's a puppet, says Ricken. Well, that's my thoughts on him. I might be proved wrong. At the moment, I'm being proved right. And it's kind of sad because it means we ain't winning football matches, isn't it? Let's be real. You're almost suggesting a new team. Well, I'm not really, am I? I'm suggesting a left winger, yeah, a number 10, a centre midfielder, a centre back, and a right back. That's 5 players, my friend. Yeah, and you're getting rid of Mesut Ozil, Lacazette, and Granit Xhaka. So you're replacing 3 players with 5 players. It really ain't difficult. Yeah, it really isn't difficult. It really wouldn't cost that much money either, because you'd get 40, 50 million for Lacazette. You'd get 25 million for what's his name? Granit Xhaka. Yeah, you'd get nothing for Ozil, so just pay his £18 million off. Yeah, so then you get rid of Mustafi, and that makes another 15 million back or 10 million back. All of a sudden, you then go out and you go and buy an Ndidi or a Decore. You go and buy a number 10. I'd go and get Eriksen. Just go and get Eriksen. He's a freebie. Go and get him. Yeah, and then go and buy a proper centre back. It really ain't hard. Go and get Nathan Ake sticking next to Saliba. Yeah, go and buy a right back, Max Aarons, for £30 million. You've now done 40 on Ake, 30 on Max Aarons. Your centre backs are now Saliba and Ake. You've got Max Aarons and you've got Tierney. That's your back 4. Yeah, it really ain't hard. You've strengthened it with 70 million quid. You've sold Mustafi, so you've got 10 million back. It's cost you 60 million to sort your back line out. Get rid of Granit Xhaka for 25. Go and buy, I don't know, go and buy Thomas Partey. Here we go, 50 million. So now you've done 25 million extra, yeah? Right? It's really not hard. You've spent 85 million pounds. You go and sell Lacazette for 50, you spent 30 million pounds. Yeah, then go and buy a number 10. If you want to get Eriksen for free, yeah, you spent 35 million pounds and your team's better. You then go and buy a left winger. There's loads of left wingers on the planet. It really ain't hard. For less than £100 million, this team could be so much better. But all the time we're pinning our hopes on players that failed under Wenger, failed under Emery, and are failing under Freddie and Arteta over the 2 stints. Yeah, we are screwed. And until people realise that, you know, we'll concede. Pratik says Josh Kroenke is a fraud. Listen, they're both frauds, yeah, but at the same time, they're paying out the 3rd highest wage bill in the league, my friend. Yeah, they're paying out £18 million to a guy posing as a footballer. £18 million a year. Apparently, we don't spend any money. They don't spend any money. Or they're paying out 230 odd million pounds in wages to a bunch of frauds. Yeah, come on. Yeah, think about it logically. We could sell some of these players and go and spend £100 million or less, and we're instantly better. Will they do it? Of course they won't. We're going to go for the tried and tested, cheap, cheerful, let's fail and get so close option by going and getting this prat from fucking PSG at left back. But what do I know? I'm just a numpty YouTuber sipping on rum and coke. That's their fault. Do you know what I hold them at fault for? Not sacking Wenger and Gazidis, yeah, when they should have. And I hold them at fault for not sacking every single member of this board that are on there now. That's what I hold them at fault for. I don't hold them at fault for not spending the money, because they've spent the money. We've spent more than Liverpool. We've spent more than Chelsea. And that's in, let's say, the last 5 years. Chelsea's net spend is 125 million in the last 5 years. Liverpool's is about 100 and something million. Yeah, ours is like nearly 300 million. Yeah, I'm sick and tired of it. Every single year, the same bullshit generic talk that comes out of this club. You know, listen, I don't necessarily blame Arteta, right? If the job gets offered to you, you're taking it. I'd take it, you'd take it, everyone would take it. I'm not blaming Arteta for that. If somebody comes to you and says, here you go, there's £6 million a year, mate, you could be Arsenal manager. Come on, everyone on the planet's taking it, yeah? What I do blame him for is not making a sub when he should have made a sub, yeah? When we played Chelsea, Frank Lampard brings on Gjorgjievski after half an hour. What did we do to compensate that? Nothing. We just let him overpower us. He had no answer to that. Yeah, and they ultimately went on and got the win. They were lucky to get the win. I think a draw probably would have been fair. But at the same time, that tactical change and that substitution of taking off Emerson and bringing on Gjorgjievski pushed them on and meant they overpowered us. At our ground, by the way. Yeah, at our ground. And he had no reply to that. Against Crystal Palace, for 10, 15 minutes, me and Chig are sitting there screaming out, get Ozil off, get Lacazette off. Yeah, bring Martinelli on, get him on the pitch. Yeah, it waits until Aubameyang gets a red card, then brings him on. Well, why did you do that? I can see it. I can see that as soon as Torreira's gone off, you've got the weakest three midfielders in the Premier League all in midfield together. Guendouzi, Ozil and Xhaka as a three is never going to work. And then you get Kouyaté just steamrolling his way through. And he sits there and sits there and sits there and sits there until we get a red card. I'm sorry, if this was Wenger doing this, half of you would have to raging up with that. Yeah, but because it's Arteta, I'll give him time. Why? What are we waiting for? What are we actually waiting for? There ain't no time. We've wasted 15 years. And then today, as soon as they make their subs and they push on, we had no answer to it again. They start hitting the longer ball. What did we do? This is pre-season. I agree. Listen, I ain't going to lose my rag with Arteta, yeah? Right? He's here. He ain't going nowhere. But I've already seen enough from him to see that he is out of his depth. Yeah? Well out of his depth. Right? Hopefully, fingers crossed, he does what's right. Because so far, I've seen him convince Granit Xhaka to stay at the football club, which is the biggest fuck-up of all. He's playing Mesut Ozil week in, week out, regardless of how fucking shit he is. And not based on the previous two performances. He's picking him on his name and the fact he's his pal. Yeah. And then he's going with Lacazette, who can't hit a fucking barn door, and shoehorning him in up front in sake of the best striker in the Premier League last season at left wing. I'm sorry, them three decisions alone are cause for concern. Yeah, they're cause for concern. Keeping Granit Xhaka when we could have binned him. Yeah. Playing Aubameyang left wing when we could have played him up front, but he's shoehorning a player who can't score a goal up front, and playing the best striker left wing, yeah, and playing Mesut Ozil regardless of how shit he is. Them three things alone are cause for concern. I'm sorry, that's how I feel. Big up my guy Frank. How you doing, buddy? Hope you and the family are well. Laka isn't looking good because our cam is absolute trash. So if Laka has to drop to try and create something, I bet if we get a good cam, Laka would shine. We need Ozil to go now. Listen, that is part of the problem. And thank you for that. I appreciate that, mate, as always. But that is part of the problem. I do agree with that, yeah? But at the same time, right, he should be telling the manager or Ozil, bruv, what are you doing? Why are you over there? Like, why aren't you in behind me feeding me the ball? Yeah, like they should be communicating. I see Ozil today having a go at Saka. Why? Who the fuck are you? Why are you having a go at him? He's a kid. He's 18 years old. And you're having a go at him because he wasn't on the same wavelength as you and he run past you as you were passing the ball back to him that way. Yeah, he's trying to go forward and you're going backwards, mate. Yeah, and then you stand there and going like that to Saka. Yeah, who the fuck is this guy, man? Seriously, I can't stand him, man. The quicker him and his army of fucking divs get out of the club, the better. Hamid Abbas, another real one in the chat. Big up yourself, my friend. Hope you and the wifey are good. As a Liverpool fan, I can now appreciate Hendo, Gini and Milner, seeing what big names do elsewhere. Sell the big asset and reinvest and get rid of the dead wood. Exactly. Listen, Gini Wijnaldum, James Milner and Henderson, if Arsenal fans were offered them when you signed them, in fact, I laughed at Henderson. I'm going to hold my hands up. I laughed at Henderson. Yeah. Milner, I would have took in a heartbeat because the guy's quality, man. Left back, right back, centre back. You can play the geezer in goal upside down with his hands tied behind his back. He'd still save a penalty or something. Yeah, and Wijnaldum got relegated with Newcastle. Hendo got relegated with Sunderland, I think. Yeah, and James Milner's just been everywhere, isn't he? Right? But at the same time, if we got offered them 3 players when you got offered them, none of our fans would want them because we're too snobby and elitist to want players like that. Yeah, and that is part of the problem as well. The fact of the matter is, it doesn't matter how big your name is or how big a career you have had. You've got to have work rate, hunger and desire. Too many of these players haven't got that and haven't had that since we signed them. Yeah, they're now on their 4th manager, some of these people, and they're still doing the same crap they were doing under the first manager. Yet, some reason, a lot of our fans seem to think that Mikel Arteta is going to make him great. Based on what? Based on what? I don't get it. I genuinely don't get it. Listen, we could have binned Granit Xhaka this window. He convinced him to stay. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. People want to tell me this guy's another Pep. What do I know? Well, listen, I'm going to wrap this up. Do drive the likes up. Thank you to everybody in the chat. I'm going to go and chill out because I am proper few. Listen, like I said, I'm going to leave it on this, right? Keeping Granit Xhaka when we could have sold him. Playing Mesut Ozil week in, week out, regardless of how crap he's been the last couple of games. Still no goals, no assists. He's the only number 10 in world football that don't score or an assist a goal anymore, but we still play him. So that ad Granit Xhaka could have gone what we convinced him to stay, and then shoehorning Lacazette up front for the sake of a best striker on the left wing. Them 3 decisions alone are cause for concern. So if people think I'm being negative, cool. I don't really care. I'm being honest. And a lot of people are sitting there trying to convince themselves that Arteta is going to make us great. He won't all the time. He's making mistakes like that. But we move on. I can breathe. We'll be back against Chelsea. And I'll somehow try to find some confidence going into that game. Not that I am confident right now. I'm a bit fuming. I'm peed off. But I've seen this story time and time again, which is why when we sit there and our manager talks all that, and listen, I like what he's saying. He ain't backing what he's saying. Yeah, it's as simple as that. If he's backing what he says, Ozil and Lacazette do not start at Stamford Bridge. But they will. Have a wonderful evening. I'll be back at 7 o'clock tomorrow morning with the daily transfer update. Maybe I should be in charge of transfer negotiations. I've been a lot of them. But there we go. I'll be back at 7. Thank you to everyone who's been part of the streams today, the watch along, the starting 11 and this. I do appreciate it. Thank you to everyone in the chat. Thank you to everyone who's donated. That does help. It's gone towards payment of the website that's coming next week, hopefully. So thank you very much. And enjoy the rest of what's left of the weekend. Thanks, Arsenal, for fucking it up again. Laters, peeps.